Thank you all for being here today for your yoga. It's a great way to start off your week. Coming into a seated position. And you might like to, I'm sitting on a block. You might like to sit on a block, or you could just sit on a roller like Gilda is, or a bolster like Deb is. So it allows you to lift your hips up a little bit and it's a little bit more comfortable. So coming into your yoga space and softening your eyes, coming back to your breath. Let's arrive. Noticing the floor beneath you. Notice your breath as you breathe in, feeling your chest expand. And then pause and exhale. Feel your chest fall away. It's coming back to your breath, coming within your body. As you breathe in and out, I'll read you a yoga quote that's going to set our theme for today. Yoga is not a workout, it's a work in. And this is the point of a spiritual practice, to make us teachable, to open up our hearts and focus our awareness so that we can know who we are and know who we already are. So all the answers are lying within. It's not a workout, it's about coming back to your breathing and clearing your body and clearing your mind. In our practice today, we're going to do some Pranyama breathing to help us to fill us up with some nice fresh oxygen and to freshen up our mind. Let's take 6 more deep breaths, keeping our eyes nice and soft. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Let's continue on. Two more breaths. For our Nadi Shoda, which is our Pranayama breathing, we've done this before where we do alternate nostril breathing. So we start off, we bring our thumb and our middle finger either side of our nostrils and our second finger or our long finger to our forehead. And to start off with, we use our middle finger to block off the left side of our nostril, and we breathe in through the right. We pause and then use our thumb to close off the right nostril and release the left nostril. Breathe out through the left and then in through the left. Block off the left, pause, and out through the right. So that's one cycle. Then in through the right, pause, and out through the left. In through the left, block off the left, and out through the right. So that's 2 cycles. Do 4 more cycles at your own pace. Use your own breath. Nice tall spine as you do this. And 1 more cycle. And just bring your hands to your knees with your palms facing up. Let's take 6 more breaths. Just breathing freely in and out. And 2 more breaths. Beautiful work. So the whole idea of pranayama breathing is to bring us back internally, bring us into that work-in situation. So we're focused on our inner selves, our inner awareness, and we're balancing out our breathing, oxygenating our blood, and we are freshening up the mind. From here, we'll go to tabletop position. So on your hands and knees. Welcome, Caroline. So we're going to go on to tabletop, opening up our fingers, pressing our palms into the mat, having our knees underneath our hips. And we're going to do some cat-cows. Okay, focusing on breathing. Inhale as you lift your chest up. And exhale as you bring your spine up towards the ceiling, looking through your knees towards your feet, lengthening out the spine. And imagine you're opening up all the little spaces in between your vertebrae, from the bottom of your spine, right up your spine, through your shoulders, and into your neck. Let your breath initiate the movement and connecting to that beautiful stretch of your whole spine. Let's do 1 more round. And then bringing your body down onto the ground and have your 4 hands in front of you, elbows underneath your shoulder blades, arms, hands open. We're going into Sphinx pose. Bring your elbows in nice and tight, lifting up through the chest, bringing your shoulders back and down, squeezing through the shoulder blades, squeezing through the buttocks, and breathing, stretching through the upper spine and the lower spine. Let's take 4 more breaths here. Really feeling that squeeze through the shoulder blades and a squeeze through the buttocks and the lower back. And then bringing your hands underneath your chin on top of each other and bring your forehead down onto the back of your hands, bending your knees and taking your knees from side to side. Just giving a little bit of movement in your lower back, just releasing any tension you may have in that area. Just going from side to side. And then coming back up to tabletop and tucking your toes under, opening up your hands, pressing your palms into the mat, lifting your hips up into your first downward dog, having your feet about hip width apart and walking your heels down towards the mat, paddling your heels down, stretching through the back of your legs down to your Achilles and your calf muscles, having your head falling heavy so you feel a nice stretch through the shoulders. Taking 4 more breaths here. And then come back down to tabletop, take your knees wide and sitting onto your buttocks, lifting your chest up nice and tall and walking your hands forward into child's pose and bringing your forehead down towards the mat. And we're going to take 6 nice, long, deep breaths here. And on each exhale, allow your body to relax and surrender a little more into the pose. Feeling a nice loosening of the lower back area. So as you're exhaling, bringing the forehead down further and further towards the mat. It's a good position to help to ease the tension in the lower back. Three more breaths. And last breath. Coming back up to tabletop. And we're going to do a sequence between upward dog and downward dog. So we're going to take our hands slightly forward, bring our hips forward and our chest forward into an upward dog. You can keep your knees on the ground. And inhale as you come forward, and then exhale as you tuck your toes under and bring your hips up to downward dog. And then inhale as you bring your knees back down and take your chest forward. And this one stretching through the lower back and the back of the legs and the shoulders when you're in the downward dog. And when you're going into upward dog, it's stretching through the front of the body, the front of the chest, and it's also giving the lower back a little bit of movement. So continue on there, just going from one to the other. And Elsa, if this is a little bit hard for you with your lower back, you can go from upward dog back into child's pose if you wish. Just taking it a little bit easier. It's up to you. So we can go upward dog to downward dog, or we can go upward dog to child's pose. You pick whichever one feels right for you. Let's do 4 more rounds. As your back starts to warm up, you might like to do the upward dog with your knees off the mat. Let's go 2 more rounds. Nice. And then coming up into standing position and have your body lengthwise on the mat and take your legs out nice and wide, take your feet really wide. And we're going to inhale, lift our arms all the way up. And exhale, we're going to fold forward. Now you can slide your hands down your legs to save your lower back a little bit. Bring your hands down to the mat. So hands are flat on the mat. If you can heel toe your feet out a little wider. And so you feel like you're on the edge of the outside edge of your feet. Bring your hands so they're underneath where your shoulders are. And let your crown of your head fall down towards the mat. So you're falling heavy through the head and the shoulders. And taking some nice deep breaths here. So this one helps also to release any tension you may have in your lower back and stretches out the back of the hamstrings. It's just coming back to your breath. Noticing the rise and fall in your chest and enjoying the inversion. Great for your lymphatic system, great for your circulatory system and your immunity. Take 3 more deep breaths here. And then on your next inhalation, bring your hands a little forward and lifting up through the chest, lengthening your spine. And then heel toe your feet a little closer. And then inhale, bend your knees and lift your arms up, stretching up all the way up into mountain pose. And bring your hands back to Anjali Mudra. Give your legs a little shake. From here, we'll do a couple of balancing poses. The first one we're going to do is, it's a variation on tree pose. It's like a pigeon balancing. So we're going to start off using our right foot. So I want you to open up your toes in the right foot and move your body in a little circle. So you connect to the 3 key points, anchor points on your foot. And then we're going to lift up our left foot and bring that leg in front of your right knee. Bringing your hands to Anjali Mudra and bending your right knee a little bit and bring your chest a little forward. Find a drishti point to help you with your balance. So point on the floor in front of you. And let's take some deep breaths here. So this one is also, apart from balance, it's helping to stretch out through the glute and the lower back to help you with any tightening you might have in that lower back area. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then inhale, come back up to standing. Give your legs a little shake. And let's go to the other side. So this time opening the left toes out, moving your hips in a little circle, connecting to the anchor points on the left foot. You might circle one way and then the other. And pick out a drishti point in front of you. Then bring the right foot up in front of the left knee. Hands to Anjali Mudra. Bending the left knee and taking your chest slightly forward till you feel a stretch between the knee and the hip on the right side. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. 2 more breaths. And last one. And then come back up to standing. Give your legs a little shake. And then we'll do one more balance. This one we're going to do a dancer pose. So you might want to just reach out and have something in front of you that you can grab onto if you need to. So for dancer pose, we're going to start on the right foot. So connect into those anchor points on the right side again. And you're going to pick up your left foot into your left hand, like you're going to stretch your left quad. And we're going to take our body forward and kick our left foot back and stretch out with the right hand into dancer. So lifting up through the chest, lengthening out through the right hand and kicking out the left foot. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then release. Good. Nice work. And then we're going to go to the other side. So opening up through the left toes this time, and just having your point in front of you that you can reach out to if you need to help you with your stability, and lift up the right foot into the right hand, find the drishti point, and then tilt your body forward, kick that right leg up and bring your left hand forward. Let's take 3 more breaths. And last one, and release. Good, give that a nice shake. And then come to the back of your mat for our warrior sequence. We're going to turn our left foot slightly out and step forward with the right foot. And make sure that your right heel is lining up with the arch of your left foot, bringing your hips and shoulders to face forward. We're going to inhale, lift up our hands, open up our chest, and imagine you're holding a big beach ball in your hands. So you're stretching up, the right knee is bent, so it's placed over the right ankle, connecting to the deep stretch on the left hip. Let's take 4 breaths here. And then take the right hand forward, left hand back into warrior 2, lengthening out through both hands, feeling that stretch across the front of your chest and the strength you need on the right thigh to hold that up. Let's take 4 more breaths. And then lengthen out the right leg, slide the left hand down your left leg and lift the right hand up towards the ceiling, stretching through the right side of the body. Taking some deep breaths here. And then exhale, fold forward. Bring your right hand down so it's on the floor next to your right foot. And you can place a block there if you have one, lengthening out the right leg. And we're going to inhale, lift our left hand up towards the ceiling into triangle. 4 breaths here. So really opening up that left hand, moving the hand back towards the back of your body, feeling the stretch through the front of your chest and gazing up towards the left hand. 2 more breaths. And then bring the left hand down to the right. Both hands behind your back, clasping them. And then lift up through the chest and lift the hands off your back into humble warrior. Two more breaths here. And then release your hands and come back up to standing. Hands back to Anjali Mudra. Bring your legs together, give them a little shake. And then we'll go to the other side. So this time, right foot is slightly turned out. Stepping forward with the left foot. And make sure that you're aligned. Inhale, lift the hands, bending the left knee. Imagine you've got that beach ball and you're really lifting it as high as you can. Feel that stretch through the right hip and lengthening through the arms, stretching up through both sides of the body. Taking deep breaths. Breathing in and out your nose. And then take the left hand forward, right hand back. Really lengthening through the hands. Left knee is still bent. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Really lengthen through the hands. Feel the strength that you need in that left thigh. 2 more breaths. And then inhale, lengthen and straighten the left knee. bring the left hand up towards the ceiling and slide the right hand down the back of your right leg, stretching up. So you feel a nice stretch through the left side of the front of your body. And one more breath. And then come back. And we're going to bring the left hand down forward onto the floor beside the left foot. And the right hand, we're going to lift that all the way up to the ceiling, take our gaze with it. So we feel a nice stretch through the front of the chest. Our left leg is now straight, looking up towards that right hand and taking some deep breaths here. Deep stretch through the back of the left leg. 2 more breaths here. And then bring the right hand down to the mat. Take both hands behind your back, clasp them, and then inhale, lift the chest up and stretch through the shoulders into humble warrior. Two more breaths. And then releasing your hands and inhale, come back up to standing. Hands back to Anjali Mudra and give your legs a nice shake. Nice. So to do a little bit more opening up through the hip area, we're going to take our legs quite wide, slightly turning your feet out. And then we're going to bring our hands up to cactus and we're going to squat down. So chest up nice and tall, squeeze the shoulder blades together into goddess pose and lift your chest up nice and tall. And we're going to stay here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and come back up to standing. Taking a couple of breaths, just even out our breathing again. And then we're going to go into chair pose. So chair pose is similar. And with the chair pose, we're going to inhale and lift our arms up and bend our knees. It's like we're going to sit down in a chair, have our chest up nice and tall. That's it, chest up tall. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back up to standing. And from here, we're going to go into a deep yogi squat. So if this is not possible on your knees, you can go not quite so deep. If you have a blanket or a bolster, you can place your heels on it to give you a bit of support. Have your heels quite wide apart, toes pointing out. And we're going to come down into a deep squat. Bring our hands into Anjali Mudra in front of us, and then use our elbows to push out our knees. And we're going to balance here. So having something supporting your heels just helps you support it here. If you want to, you can soften your eyes. Let's just take some nice deep breaths here. If it's uncomfortable to go down this low, just come up a little higher. Make sure your feet are wide apart. Your feet probably need to be a bit wider, Gilda, I think. So chest up nice and tall and just pushing your hands together, pushing the elbows against your knees. So really opening up through the hips. Let's take 4 more breaths. This is a great one to open up through the lower back too. It's quite deep squat. And 1 more breath. And then place your hands on the ground and lift up the legs into a forward bend and let your head fall heavy. If you have a block handy, you can place your hand on the block. So just lengthening out through the back of the legs, opening out through the lower back. 4 more breaths. Coming back to your breathing, coming back to the theme of our practice about going inward, focusing in our awareness on what we know and on who we are. And then inhale, bend your knees slightly, coming up to standing position. Let's give your body a nice shake. And move your bolsters out of the way. And coming down onto the mat, onto your back. So laying on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And we're going to start off with a bridge pose. So just before we start, you might like to just move your knees from side to side, taking any tension out of your lower back. Just taking a few deep breaths. That's it. So Elsa, on your back, onto the bridge pose. That's it. And then hugging up your knees. So we're just taking our knees from side to side, Elsa. And then hug your knees up and move them in a little circle. Go one way and then the other way. And then bring your feet to the ground. And we're going to go into our first bridge. So slide your heels as close as you can to your buttocks. As you inhale, lift up through the hips and slide your hands underneath you to clasp them, and then walk your shoulders a little closer together. Lift up as high as you can and really squeeze through the butt. Squeeze through the shoulders. Let's take 6 breaths here. Bringing your chest up towards your chin. And one more breath. And then slowly lower your spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. Hug your knees up to your chest. Squeezing that in, releasing any tension, rinsing out our spine. After the back bend, we're in a forward bend now. Place your right foot on the ground and bring your left foot and shins across the front of your right thigh. And then lift up the right foot and bring your hands either to your left shin or through the left thigh or through to the right shins. So you're coming into a reverse pigeon. Let's take 4 deep breaths here. So this is a reverse pigeon, and this one is great for lower back. So this one's, all this lower back's for you, Elsa. 2 more breaths. And then release your hands, let the right foot go to the ground and swap your legs over. So the right foot goes across the front of the left thigh, and then lift your left foot off the ground and reach either to the right shins, the left thigh, or the left shins, whichever works for you, until you're feeling that nice stretch through the right glute and ITB. 4 breaths here. One more breath. And then release, bring both feet to the mat and take your feet out to the outside edges of the mat so they're nice and wide. Take your arms straight out from your shoulders so your back's nice and flat on the ground. And we're going to take both knees to the left side like a windscreen wipers, stretching through the hips and the thighs. And then take Inhale to the center and exhale to the other side. So both knees are falling to the right, looking towards the left, feeling that nice stretch through the left hip. Move with your breath. Inhale to center. Exhale, take the knees to the left and continue on with your own breath, feeling that nice deep stretch through the front of the hips. Going from side to side, whatever feels right for you. And then bring the knees back to center. And we're going to bring our hands and we're going to reach through, bending our knees up, lifting our feet off the ground, reach through the center of our legs to grab onto the outside edges of our feet. And then we're going to lift our feet up towards the ceiling into happy baby. That's it. So reaching through the center of the knees, grabbing the outside edges of your feet. And from here, you can just stay in this position and feel that deep stretch through the lower back. You can move around if that feels good for you. Really great stretch for lower back. And then take 2 more breaths and then release. Bring your feet back to the floor. And from here, we're going to go into our legs up position. So you might like to have your legs up the wall or along the side of a bed. You might like to come up into a shoulder stand, whatever feels right for you today. So we're going to inhale, lift our feet up. If you're coming into shoulder stand, holding your hips with your hands like a bowl of fruit and bring your elbows a little close together. Let's give our feet a little shake, some little circles on the ankles. So it's nice and light, helping our lymphatic system and with gravity, flushing that lymphatic system out of our legs. You might like to take your feet wide. It's coming back to the breathing, enjoying this nice inversion. And you might like to bring the soles of your feet together with your knees out to the side like a butterfly. If you're in shoulder stand, you might like to take your feet over your head into flower pose, stretching out through the back of your neck and the upper shoulders. If you've got your legs up the wall, you might like to straighten the legs out, lift them up nice and tall. Let's take 4 more breaths here. And on the next inhalation, slowly allow your spine to roll back down to the earth. And we're going to go into Savasana. If you would like to place a bolster under your knees, you can, or a block, just to take any edge off the lower back. Coming into Savasana. For today, you might like to have the soles of your feet together with your knees out to the side. And place your hands comfortably beside you with palms facing up. If you have a eye pillow, you might like to place that over your eyes. If you have a blanket, you might like to place it over your body to hold in all the good energy that you've created with your yoga practice. So we're going to have a nice silent Savasana today for the next 5 minutes or so, enjoying the rest, coming back to your breath and coming back within. All the answers are within your body and within your mind. Beginning to come back to your awareness of your breath. Moving your fingers and toes. And stretching out your arms and your feet. Stretching out the body. And when you're ready, coming back up to a comfortable seated position. And I'll read out our yoga quote one more time. Yoga is not about a workout, it's a work in. This is the point of a spiritual practice, to make us teachable, to open our hearts, and to focus our awareness so that we can know what we already know and who we already are. Let's bring our hands to Anjali Mudra and then hands up to our forehead for kind thoughts, to our lips for kind words, and to our hearts for a kind heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining the yoga practice today.
Thank you. That was lovely, Jen.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yep.